The sun beat down on Rose's kitchen in Accra as she prepared for dinner. She wiped her forehead with the back of her hand, feeling the heat from the stove. Her husband Jude had told her that his mother, Mrs. Chioma, was coming to visit for a special family dinner. This was important because Jude's business had just become very successful, and the whole family wanted to celebrate together. Rose had been married to Jude for only 2 years. During this time she had tried very hard to be a good wife and to make Jude's family like her. But his mother, Mrs. Chioma, was not an easy woman to please. She was always finding something to complain about. She would say things like Rose's cooking was not as good as her own cooking, or Rose did not keep the house clean enough, or Rose did not dress nicely enough. Mrs. Chioma seemed to think that no woman was good enough for her son. Rose had learned to ignore most of these complaints. She knew that Mrs. Chioma was just being difficult because she did not want to share her son with anyone. But today Rose wanted everything to be perfect. She had cleaned the house from top to bottom. She had prepared many different foods. She had even bought new plates and glasses for the table. She wanted Mrs. Chioma to see that she was a good wife and that Jude was happy with her. The afternoon was getting later, and Rose was busy in the kitchen when she heard a car pull up outside the house. She looked out the window and saw Mrs. Chioma getting out of the car. Jude's sister Blessing was also with her. Rose was happy to see Blessing because Blessing had always been kind to her. Unlike Mrs. Chioma, Blessing treated Rose like she was a true sister. They often laughed together and talked about many things. Mrs. Chioma walked into the kitchen with her head held high. She was carrying a large, expensive-looking glass bowl. Inside the bowl was a salad that looked very beautiful and fancy. The vegetables were arranged in neat patterns. There were different colors all mixed together in a pretty way. Mrs. Chioma put the bowl down on the table with a loud sound, like she wanted to make sure everyone saw it. She started to talk in a loud voice. She said that she had brought a special salad that she had made herself. She said it was made with imported ingredients that came from far away. She said it was the kind of salad that rich people ate. She looked at Rose and said in a mean way that Rose probably did not even know the names of these expensive ingredients. She said that Rose would never be able to make something so fine and beautiful. Rose said nothing. She just smiled and nodded politely. She did not want to make Mrs. Chioma angry before dinner had even started. But then something strange happened. As Rose looked at the salad in the fancy bowl, she noticed a smell. It was not a fresh smell like vegetables. It was a musty smell like something old. It was almost like a chemical smell, the kind you get when food has gone bad and is starting to rot inside. Rose's nose wrinkled up a little. She could not help it. The smell was very strange and not good at all. She leaned a little closer to the bowl to smell it again. Yes, there was definitely something wrong with that salad. It did not smell fresh. It did not smell like the beautiful vegetables it looked like on top. Something was not right inside that glass bowl. Rose's stomach twisted with worry. What if Mrs. Chioma's salad was spoiled? What if the vegetables had gone bad? What if Mrs. Chioma had made a mistake and did not know it? If everyone ate this salad, they might all get very sick. They might have bad stomachs all night. They might even have to go to the hospital. That would be very bad. But Rose also knew something else. If she told Mrs. Chioma that her salad smelled bad, Mrs. Chioma would become very angry. She would say that Rose was lying or trying to embarrass her. She would say that Rose was jealous of her cooking. She would make a big scene and tell everyone that Rose was a bad wife who did not respect her mother-in-law. The whole celebration would be ruined. Just then, Blessing came into the kitchen carrying her own bowl. Inside it was a beautiful salad made with fresh local vegetables. The vegetables looked so green and fresh and alive. The smell from Blessing's salad was wonderful and clean, like fresh garden vegetables picked that same morning. The dressing smelled like lemon and good oil. It was the kind of salad that made your mouth want to water just from smelling it. Blessing smiled at Rose and said that she had brought her grandmother's special salad recipe. She said it was made with vegetables from the local market that she had picked herself that morning. She said she had spent the whole morning preparing it with love. Blessing's salad looked healthy and good and fresh, everything that Mrs. Chioma's salad did not look like. Rose looked from Mrs. Chioma's fancy imported salad to Blessing's fresh local salad. She could smell both of them now. One smelled like something had died inside it. The other smelled like life and freshness and health. Her worry grew bigger and bigger. What was she going to do? How could she stop everyone from eating the bad salad without making Mrs. Chioma angry? Rose's hands began to shake a little. Her mind was going very fast, thinking about what might happen. She could imagine everyone getting sick during dinner. She could imagine Jude feeling bad. She could imagine having to call a doctor in the middle of the night. She could imagine Mrs. Chioma blaming Rose for everything, even though it was Mrs. Chioma who had brought the bad salad. Rose stood there in her kitchen, feeling very worried and very unsure about what she should do. The two salads sat on the table waiting. Mrs. Chioma was in the other room talking with Jude. Blessing was setting the table. And Rose was alone with the problem, trying to decide what the right thing to do would be. She had no idea that this moment and the choice she was about to make would change everything for her family. Rose stood in her kitchen, listening to the sounds of her family in the living room. She could hear Jude laughing with his mother and sister. She could hear them talking about the business and how happy they all were. But Rose could not laugh or feel happy. She was too worried about the bad salad that sat on her kitchen table. She looked at the two bowls again. Mrs. Chioma's fancy salad with the imported ingredients was still giving off that strange, musty smell. Blessing's fresh salad with the local vegetables smelled so clean and good. Rose's heart was beating very fast. She knew she had to do something, but she did not know what. Rose walked to the door of the kitchen and looked into the living room. Everyone was sitting down and talking. Jude was on the sofa, and his mother Mrs. Chioma was sitting next to him. Blessing was in a chair across from them, and her husband was sitting near the window. They were all talking and laughing. No one was looking toward the kitchen. No one was paying attention to what Rose was doing. Rose's mind was racing. She thought about what would happen if she said nothing. She thought about everyone eating the bad salad at dinner. She imagined people's faces getting sick and pale. She imagined someone's stomach hurting very badly. She imagined having to explain to everyone that she knew the salad was bad but did not say anything. That would be worse than anything else. But then Rose thought about another thing. What if she tried to tell Mrs. Chioma that the salad smelled bad? Mrs. Chioma would become very angry. She would say things like Rose was trying to shame her in front of everyone. She would say that Rose was jealous of her fancy cooking. She would make a big loud scene. The whole celebration would be ruined. Everyone would feel bad instead of happy. And Mrs. Chioma would blame Rose for everything that went wrong. Rose stood there for a long time, maybe only 1 minute, but it felt like much longer. Her hands were shaking. She was sweating even more than before. She did not know what to do. Part of her wanted to just walk away and let things happen as they would happen. Another part of her wanted to run and tell everyone right now about the bad salad. But she did not do either of those things. Instead, Rose made a decision that she would later wish she had never made. She decided to switch the two salads. She told herself that this was the best way to protect everyone. She told herself that she was just moving the bowls around, not really doing anything wrong. She told herself that no one would ever know. She told herself that the important thing was that no one would get sick. But deep in her heart, Rose knew it was wrong. She knew she was being dishonest. She knew she was tricking people. But she pushed these thoughts away. She was too worried about what might happen if she did nothing. Rose looked into the living room one more time. Everyone was still sitting and talking. Jude was telling a story about something that happened at his business. Everyone was listening and smiling. This was the perfect time. Everyone was distracted. No one was looking at the kitchen. No one would see what Rose was about to do. Rose took a long breath. She walked over to the table where the two salads were sitting. Her heart was beating so hard that she thought everyone in the living room might hear it. She could feel sweat on her forehead and on her back. She felt like she was doing something very bad, something that was against all the rules she had been taught as a child. Slowly, very slowly, Rose reached out and picked up Mrs. Chioma's fancy salad bowl. It was heavy and cold. The bowl was smooth glass and very nice to touch. But inside, Rose knew, were vegetables that had gone bad. She held the bowl in both of her hands. For just a second she thought about putting it back down and forgetting about this crazy idea. But then she smelled the musty, bad smell again. She remembered her worry about everyone getting sick. She remembered how Jude could get very sick if he ate bad food. She remembered that Blessing was kind to her and she did not want Blessing to get sick either. So Rose did not put the bowl back down. Instead, she turned and placed Mrs. Chioma's questionable salad down in the place where Blessing's fresh salad had been sitting. Now Rose reached for Blessing's beautiful fresh salad. This bowl was also heavy, but it felt different. It felt like it was full of something good and healthy and clean. The smell from it was wonderful. It was the smell of morning and fresh vegetables and love. Rose picked it up and held it carefully in both her hands. She took a breath and then she placed it down in the place where Mrs. Chioma's bad salad had been. It was done. The two salads had been switched. Rose stood back and looked at the table. From the outside, nothing looked different. There was still a fancy glass bowl on the table. There was still another bowl with salad in it. Everything looked the same as before. But everything was different now. Rose's hands were shaking very badly. She felt like she might be sick herself. She felt like she had done something terrible, something that could not be taken back. She put her hands on the table to try to stop them from shaking so much. She took several deep breaths, trying to calm herself down. She could still hear her family in the living room. They were still laughing and talking. They still did not know what she had just done. Part of her wanted to run in there right now and tell everyone the truth. But she did not do that. Instead, she just stood there in her kitchen, alone with what she had done. Rose looked at the two salads one more time. Mrs. Chioma's bad salad was now where Blessing's good salad had been. The fancy imported salad with the musty smell was now in the place of the fresh local salad. Rose had moved them around so that the bad salad would be in front of Mrs. Chioma at dinner. That way, she told herself, Mrs. Chioma would eat her own bad salad and no one else would have to eat it. Everyone else would eat the good fresh salad that Blessing had made. It seemed like a perfect plan when Rose was thinking about it so quickly. But now that it was done, it did not seem so perfect. It seemed like a sneaky, dishonest plan. It seemed like a plan that could go wrong in many different ways. But it was too late now. The deed was done. Rose could not take it back. She heard footsteps. Someone was coming to the kitchen. Rose's heart jumped into her throat. Had someone seen what she did? Did someone know? She turned around quickly, ready to explain herself. But it was only Jude. He came into the kitchen and put his arms around Rose from behind. Jude said that his mother and sister would be ready to eat soon. He asked Rose if everything was okay because she looked worried. Rose said yes, everything was fine. But her voice did not sound like her real voice. It sounded like she was far away. Jude looked at her with a worried face. He asked if she was sure. Rose said yes, she was sure. Then Jude kissed her on the head and went back to the living room. Rose stood alone in the kitchen again. She looked at the two switched salads. She knew that in just a few minutes, everyone would come to the table for dinner. In just a few minutes, Mrs. Chioma would sit down in front of her own bad salad, and she would not even know it. In just a few minutes, everything would be different. Rose did not know it yet, but the decision she had just made would cause many things to happen. Things would happen that she could not control. Things would happen that would surprise everyone, including herself. All because she decided to switch two salads on a table in her kitchen in Accra. Everyone came to the dining room as Rose called them to eat. The table looked beautiful. Rose had put out nice plates and glasses. She had made many different foods. There were rice and chicken and vegetables and bread. And in the middle of the table were the two salad bowls. Rose knew which one was which, but no one else did. Jude pulled out a chair for his mother, Mrs. Chioma. She sat down with a satisfied look on her face, like she was very pleased with herself. She looked at the salad bowl in front of her, which was actually her own salad that Rose had switched. Mrs. Chioma did not know this. She thought she was looking at Blessing's fresh salad. She thought that maybe Rose had moved her fancy salad to a different place on the table, but she did not really care where it was as long as people could see and eat it. Blessing sat down next to her mother. She looked at the salad bowl that was in front of her now, which was actually Mrs. Chioma's fancy imported salad that Rose had switched. Blessing did not know this either. She thought she was looking at her own salad, the one she had made with love that morning with fresh vegetables from the market. Jude sat at the head of the table. His wife Rose sat next to him. Blessing's husband sat across from Jude. Everyone looked happy and excited. This was a special day. Jude's business had done very well, and everyone wanted to celebrate together. The whole room felt warm and happy. Jude stood up and raised his glass. He said thank you to everyone for coming to celebrate with him. He said that his business had been successful because of the help and support of his family. He said that Rose was the best wife and that she had helped him so much. He said that his mother and sister were always there for him. He said that he loved all of them very much. Everyone raised their glasses and drank together. Then everyone started to put food on their plates. Rose watched as people reached for different things. Some people took chicken. Some people took rice. Some people took bread. And then people started to reach for the salads. Jude put some of Blessing's salad on his plate. But Jude did not know that this was really Mrs. Chioma's salad. He thought he was eating the fresh salad that Blessing had brought. Blessing's husband also took some salad. Rose watched him carefully. She was hoping that he would not get sick from eating the bad salad. Then Blessing reached for the salad bowl in front of her. She put some on her plate. Blessing smiled because she thought she was eating her own salad that she had made. She did not know that she was actually eating her mother's fancy imported salad. She did not know about the musty smell or the bad vegetables inside. Rose was watching everything very carefully. Her heart was beating fast. She was worried about what was going to happen. She was thinking about whether her plan was going to work or if something bad was going to happen instead. Then Mrs. Chioma reached for the salad bowl in front of her. This was actually her own salad, the one with the bad smell. But Mrs. Chioma did not know this. She thought this was the fresh salad that Blessing had made, or maybe some other salad that Rose had made. Mrs. Chioma put a big spoonful of the salad onto her plate. Mrs. Chioma looked very proud of herself. She was holding her fork and getting ready to take a big bite of what she thought was fresh salad. She wanted to eat in front of everyone so that they would see how much she was enjoying the food. She wanted to show everyone that her taste in food was very good and very fancy. But then Mrs. Chioma put the fork in her mouth. She took a big bite. For just 1 second, everything was quiet. Everyone was eating their food. Everyone was happy. Rose was holding her breath. She was waiting to see what would happen. Then Mrs. Chioma's face changed. Her eyes got very big. Her face turned from normal to a strange color. She made a noise like she was choking. She opened her mouth wide and spit out everything that was in her mouth. The food flew out of her mouth and onto her plate and onto the table. "This tastes horrible," Mrs. Chioma screamed. Her voice was very loud and very angry. Her face was turning red like all the blood in her body was going to her face. She stood up from her chair so fast that it almost fell over. "This tastes horrible. This is disgusting. This is the worst thing I have ever tasted." Everyone stopped eating. Everyone stopped moving. Everyone looked at Mrs. Chioma with surprise. Jude looked shocked. Blessing looked confused. Blessing's husband looked worried. Rose felt her stomach drop. She knew what was happening. This was the moment she had been worried about. Mrs. Chioma was still screaming. She was waving her fork in the air. "Someone has ruined my salad. Someone has ruined my beautiful, fancy salad. This is sabotage. Someone did this on purpose. Someone wanted to embarrass me and make me look bad." She was looking around the table at everyone. She was trying to figure out who had done this bad thing. She was so angry that her whole body was shaking. Her voice was getting louder and louder. She was saying that someone in this room did not respect her. She was saying that someone wanted to hurt her feelings. She was saying that someone was trying to make her look bad in front of her family. Rose felt tears starting to come to her eyes. This was worse than she had thought it would be. She had not expected Mrs. Chioma to be this angry. She had not expected Mrs. Chioma to scream so loud. She had not expected everyone to be this shocked and surprised. Jude looked at Rose. He could see that she was upset. He was trying to understand what was happening. He was looking at the salad bowl that was still on the table. He was looking at the other salad bowl. He was trying to figure out if something was wrong with the food. Blessing was looking very confused. She was looking at the salad on her own plate. She was looking at what her mother had just spit out. She was looking at the 2 salad bowls on the table. She was starting to think that maybe something very strange was happening. Mrs. Chioma sat back down in her chair. But she was still very angry. She was still shaking. She was still staring at everyone at the table. She was demanding to know who had done this. She was saying that this was not funny. She was saying that this was a very serious thing. She was saying that someone in this room had betrayed her and made fun of her. Rose could not say anything. Her throat felt very tight. Her mouth felt very dry. She wanted to tell everyone the truth. She wanted to explain why she had switched the salads. She wanted to tell them that she was trying to protect everyone. But she could not make her voice come out. She just sat there, feeling very small and very ashamed. The happy celebration dinner had turned into a disaster. The warm and happy feeling in the room had gone away. The table that had looked so beautiful now looked like a place where something terrible had happened. And it was all because of the decision Rose had made in the kitchen just a little while ago. Everyone was staring at the salad bowls. Everyone was wondering what was wrong. Everyone was wondering who had done something wrong. But no one knew the truth yet. No one knew that Rose had switched the salads. No one knew that Mrs. Chioma was eating her own bad salad. No one knew anything except that something very bad had just happened, and the whole family celebration was now in trouble. The room was very quiet after Mrs. Chioma's angry outburst. Everyone was sitting very still, not moving, not talking. The only sound was Mrs. Chioma's angry breathing. She was still glaring at everyone at the table, trying to figure out who had done this bad thing to her salad. Then Blessing looked down at her own plate. She looked at the salad that she had put there. She looked at it very carefully. Something was not right. This did not look like the salad she had made that morning. The vegetables looked different. The colors were not the same. The dressing looked different too. Blessing put down her fork slowly. She was starting to understand something. She was starting to realize that maybe the salads had been switched. She looked at her mother's plate. She looked at what her mother had spit out. She looked at the salad bowls on the table again. "Wait," Blessing said quietly. Her voice was not very loud, but everyone heard it because the room was so quiet. "Wait, I think the salads have been switched. This is not my salad." Everyone looked at Blessing. Mrs. Chioma stopped being angry for just a moment. She looked at her daughter with confusion. "What do you mean the salads have been switched?" she asked. Blessing pointed to the salad on her plate. She said, "This is not the salad I made. I know my own salad. I made it this morning. I remember exactly what it looks like. This is not it. This salad has been switched with something else." Everyone looked at Jude. Everyone looked at Rose. Everyone was waiting to see what Rose would say. Rose could feel all their eyes on her. She could feel her face getting hot. She could feel her heart beating very fast. She knew that this was the moment. She knew that she could not hide the truth anymore. Rose opened her mouth. She wanted to say something but no words came out. Her throat felt very tight. She was very afraid. She was afraid of what Mrs. Chioma would say. She was afraid of what Jude would think. She was afraid of everything. But then Jude took her hand. He squeezed it gently. He looked at her with kind eyes, like he was trying to tell her that whatever had happened, he was there with her. Rose felt tears starting to come to her eyes. Rose took a deep breath. She started to talk and her voice was shaking very much. She told everyone that she had noticed the strange smell coming from Mrs. Chioma's salad. She told them that she was worried that the salad had gone bad. She told them that she was afraid that everyone would get sick if they ate it. She told them that she did not want anyone to get sick, especially not Jude. Rose's voice got quieter as she talked. She explained that she had made a very bad decision. She told them that she had switched the two salads while everyone was in the living room. She said that she knew it was wrong to do that. She said that she knew she should have just told Mrs. Chioma about the smell. She said that she was very sorry for being dishonest and for tricking everyone. As Rose talked, tears started to flow down her face. Big tears rolled down her cheeks. Her voice was shaking and breaking apart as she spoke. She was apologizing to everyone. She was apologizing to Jude for being dishonest. She was apologizing to Blessing for making a mess of her salad. She was apologizing to Blessing's husband for being sneaky. And she was apologizing to Mrs. Chioma, even though she was very afraid of Mrs. Chioma's reaction. "I was only trying to protect everyone," Rose said through her tears. "I did not want anyone to get sick. I was very worried. I did not think clearly. I just made a quick decision without thinking about what would happen. I am very, very sorry." The room was silent again. Everyone was listening to Rose. Everyone could see that she was very upset. Everyone could see that she had really been worried about their health and safety. But everyone also knew that what she had done was not right. Mrs. Chioma's face was very hard and cold. She was not screaming anymore, but her anger was different now. It was a cold anger like ice. She was looking at Rose with eyes that were very hard and unkind. She did not say anything. She just kept looking at Rose. Jude was quiet too. He was holding Rose's hand, but he did not say anything. He was thinking about what Rose had told him. He was trying to understand why she had done this thing. Then Blessing did something that no one expected. She stood up from her chair. She said that she was going to look at her mother's original salad. She said that she wanted to see what was really in it. She wanted to see if Rose had been right to be worried about it. Blessing walked over to where the salad bowls were. She picked up the bowl that had Mrs. Chioma's fancy imported salad. This was the salad that Mrs. Chioma had brought in the expensive glass bowl. This was the salad that Mrs. Chioma had said was made with special ingredients from far away. Blessing looked at the salad from the top. It looked beautiful and fancy. But then Blessing turned the bowl around slowly. She was looking at the bottom of the salad, underneath all the pretty vegetables on top. Blessing's face changed. Her eyes got very big. She made a noise of shock and disgust. She was looking at the bottom of the salad bowl and something very bad was there. "Oh my God," Blessing said quietly. Then she said it again louder. "Oh my God." Everyone leaned forward to see what Blessing was looking at. Blessing tilted the bowl so everyone could see the bottom. At the bottom of the salad bowl there was mold. There was a lot of mold. It was green and fuzzy. It looked sick and bad. And there were also vegetables that had rotted. They were brown and mushy and falling apart. There was liquid at the bottom that smelled terrible. The whole bottom of the salad was rotten and full of mold. Blessing brought the bowl closer so everyone could see it clearly. She did not want anyone to think she was making this up. She wanted everyone to see with their own eyes that the salad was spoiled and bad. "This salad is rotten," Blessing said. Her voice was very serious. "This salad is full of mold. The vegetables at the bottom have gone very bad. This salad could make someone very sick." Rose was right to be worried. Everyone looked at the rotten salad. Everyone understood now what Rose had smelled. Everyone understood why Rose had been so worried. The salad was definitely spoiled. The salad was definitely bad. The salad could definitely make someone very sick. Mrs. Chioma's face turned very pale. She sat down slowly in her chair. She was not angry anymore. She was shocked. She was embarrassed. She was realizing that her fancy salad, the one she had said was made with special imported ingredients, was actually rotten and full of mold. Mrs. Chioma looked down at her plate where she had spit out the bad salad. She remembered how terrible it had tasted. She remembered how she had screamed and gotten very angry. But now she understood. The salad really was bad. Rose really had been trying to protect everyone. Rose really had made the right choice to switch the salads, even if she had done it in a dishonest way. The truth was now very clear to everyone. Mrs. Chioma had made the salad carelessly. She had not checked the vegetables to make sure they were good. She had not stored them properly. She had brought to the celebration a salad that was spoiled and full of mold. If Rose had not noticed the smell and switched the salads, everyone at the table would have eaten rotten vegetables. Everyone would have gotten very sick. Rose was right to be worried. Rose was right to do something. But Rose had done it in a wrong way. Rose had been dishonest and sneaky instead of being honest and direct. And now everyone knew the whole truth about what had happened and why it had happened. Mrs. Chioma sat very still in her chair. She was not moving. She was not talking. Her face was very pale, like all the color had gone out of it. She was looking down at the table, not looking at anyone. Her pride, which had been so big and so loud just a few minutes ago, was now completely broken and gone. Everyone at the table could see that Mrs. Chioma was very ashamed. She had come to this dinner feeling very proud of her fancy imported salad. She had wanted everyone to see how fancy and rich and sophisticated she was. But now everyone knew that her salad was rotten and full of mold. Everyone knew that she had made a careless mistake. Everyone knew that her beautiful appearance of being fancy and special was not real. Rose was still crying, but her tears were quieter now. Jude was holding her hand very gently. He was not angry with her. He was looking at her with kind eyes. He squeezed her hand and whispered to her that everything would be okay. He was telling her without words that he understood. He was telling her that he knew she had made a mistake, but he also knew that she had done it because she cared about everyone's safety. Blessing was still standing and holding the bowl with the rotten salad. She was looking at her mother with a very serious face. Blessing was the one who had always been kind and gentle. But now Blessing was speaking in a firm and strong voice. She was speaking like a daughter who needed to say something very important to her mother. "We need real family, not pretense," Blessing said clearly. Everyone listened to her words. "We need a family where people are honest with each other. We need a family where people care about each other. We do not need a family where people try to look fancy and rich. We do not need a family where people are always trying to prove that they are better than everyone else." Blessing was looking directly at her mother as she spoke. "Mother, I love you. But you have to stop being mean to Rose. You have to stop trying to make her feel bad about herself. You have to stop pretending to be something you are not. Rose is a good woman. She cares about this family. She cares about Jude. And today she was even willing to do something dishonest because she was so worried about protecting all of us." Mrs. Chioma listened to her daughter's words. She knew that Blessing was right. She knew that she had been wrong. She knew that she had been mean and unkind to Rose for no good reason. She knew that she had been trying to prove that she was better than Rose instead of just accepting Rose as part of the family. After dinner, after everyone had eaten the good salad that Blessing had made, everyone moved to the living room. The dishes were cleaned. The table was cleared. The evening was quieter now and calmer. But there was still something that needed to happen. Mrs. Chioma sat down next to Rose. Rose felt very nervous. She did not know what Mrs. Chioma was going to say. She was still afraid that Mrs. Chioma would be angry with her for switching the salads. But Mrs. Chioma took a deep breath. She looked at Rose with eyes that were different now. They were not hard and unkind anymore. They were sad eyes. They were sorry eyes. "Rose," Mrs. Chioma said quietly, "I need to tell you something. I need to tell you that I am very sorry. I am sorry for how I have treated you since you married my son. I am sorry for all the mean things I have said to you. I am sorry for trying to make you feel bad about yourself." Rose looked at her mother-in-law with surprise. She had never expected to hear these words. Mrs. Chioma continued speaking. "When Jude married you, I felt very scared. I felt like I was losing my son. I felt like another woman was taking him away from me. Instead of accepting this and being happy for him, I tried to make myself feel better by being mean to you. I tried to prove that I was better than you. I tried to make you feel like you were not good enough for my son. But that was wrong. That was very wrong." Tears were now coming to Mrs. Chioma's eyes too. She was speaking from her heart. She was being honest for maybe the first time in a long time. "Today when you switched the salads," Mrs. Chioma said, "I was very angry at first. But then I realized something. I realized that you did that because you care. You cared more about protecting this family than you cared about keeping your own secret. You were willing to be dishonest because you thought it would keep us safe. And I realized that I have never cared about anyone the way you care about Jude in this family." Mrs. Chioma reached out and took Rose's hand. "I am asking you to forgive me, Rose. I am asking you to give me another chance to be a real mother-in-law to you. I am asking you to help me be a better person and a better part of this family." Rose looked at this woman who had been so mean to her for so long. Rose could see that Mrs. Chioma was truly sorry. Rose could see that Mrs. Chioma was being honest now in a way that she had never been honest before. Rose could see that Mrs. Chioma was brave enough to admit that she had been wrong. Rose did something that surprised everyone. She put her arms around Mrs. Chioma and hugged her. She held her tight. And she said, "I forgive you, Mrs. Chioma. I forgive you." Later that evening, as they were all sitting together, something wonderful happened. Someone started to laugh. It was Jude. He was laughing at the thought of his mother eating her own rotten salad and then screaming so loud about sabotage. Then Blessing started to laugh too. She was laughing at the picture of her mother's face when she realized what had happened. Soon, Blessing's husband was laughing. And then even Rose started to smile and then to laugh. Finally, Mrs. Chioma started to laugh as well. It was a real laugh, not a fake laugh. It was the laugh of someone who could now see the funny side of what had happened. It was the laugh of someone who had let go of her pride and was feeling better because of it. They all laughed together about the salad incident. They laughed about how Mrs. Chioma had brought rotten vegetables to a fancy celebration. They laughed about how Rose had switched the salads. They laughed about how it had all come out in the end. They laughed about how everything that had seemed so terrible was now starting to seem like a funny story. Jude said that they would never forget this day. He said that this day had changed their family. He said that this day had taught them all something very important. He said that this day had shown them that mistakes can become something good if people are willing to learn from them and to be honest with each other. As the evening went on, Mrs. Chioma and Rose talked together. They talked about many things. Mrs. Chioma told Rose stories about Jude when he was a little boy. Rose told Mrs. Chioma about her own family and where she had grown up. They were getting to know each other in a real way for the first time. They were becoming true family members instead of just people who were connected by marriage. Something genuine had started to heal in this family. The broken trust was starting to be fixed. The unkindness was starting to be replaced with real love and real care. The pretense and the fakeness were starting to go away. Everyone understood now that mistakes do not have to destroy a family. Mistakes can actually become the bridge that brings people closer together. Sometimes, when people are willing to be honest about their mistakes, and when people are willing to forgive each other, something beautiful can happen. Mrs. Chioma had learned that she did not have to be fake and fancy to be loved. Jude had learned that his wife was brave and caring even when she made mistakes. Rose had learned that being honest is important, but also that being compassionate and forgiving is important too. Blessing had learned that sometimes people need to hear hard truths from people who love them. The family sat together that night, laughing and talking and eating good food. The bad salad was gone. The anger was gone. The shame was fading away. And in its place was something much better. In its place was real family, real love, real connection. And they all knew that they would never forget the night when the fancy salad turned out to be rotten, and how that rotten salad had actually helped them become a real family instead of a fake one.